This one, what we're doing is Breast Cancer Month in October, so we're using the pink chucks. So we're going to go from here, we're going to step straight back into a fight stance, okay? When I'm doing this, this can help you learn your rotations of your hips. So when I go here, I don't want to just go here. I want to go and I want to absorb that first move. I stay attached with the metal to my hip. I move this to my other hip, transferring my weight. As I bring it back into my shoulder, I'm now into my ready state, okay? So it's hip, hip, up. Hip rotates on the first one, hip rotates on the second one, bring it back up to your stance, okay? As this one's going here, boom, it's that same rotation that you're learning, pulling this hip backwards and not just pushing this forward, but learning to pull this hip backwards. On the second one, pull this hip backwards. Nice short hook, okay? And then from there, you drop back to your fight stance. So this is just basically a fight stance. So I'm in, it's going hip, okay? This is a nice powerful boom coming through. You're gonna stay attached to the hip, bang, all right? And then back to your fight stance. You're in here. When I'm going through, and what they did say that was a really great comment, is that if I'm here like this, Aaron puts up his arm, and I come here, and I hit at his arm, especially if he bats it back at me, this is something that could come back, catch my elbow, catch my face, catch wherever, okay? Whether I'm using it as a short, watch yourself for a second, where I'm going through the eye line or the front half of his face, which I'd be using as cutting techniques, short with the chucks, okay?
Like a slap.
Or I'm coming through and I'm landing, let's put your arm up. I'm not going here, I'm pulling through to that hip.
You can hear it.
Okay?
Yeah.
You can hear it, and there's a little touch. Boom. Now if I was to put some weight into this and do that rotation of that hip, that's gonna go through, okay? This movement here, okay, coming from hip to hip, is very nice for boom, short in on the knee, right up under the chin, okay? The thing you don't wanna do is also extending these things, okay? So if I'm just extending and he pops it, it comes back at me nice and hard, okay? Or it pops off on weird angles. You always want to stay close to these points in your body, we call your gates, okay? The second one we're going to do, which I'm going to introduce today, is a grip, which eventually you learn to slide. I've just made it very obvious because it's kind of sticky out here. You're just going to slide down to different positions. So there's actually 3 positions. One, this first one. 2 is when we're using it as a contact weapon, okay? So now I'm just straight in, he comes in, boom here. I've got all the stuff I can do right here, okay? We also have the chuck here as a control technique, okay? I can put this into the body, I can do all kinds of things. Gets really tight, really painful. So second one here, okay? He comes in backhand, we've got all of those things you can do. And I've got double chuck, okay? Notice how this grip is, fingers at the bottom. I'm controlling over, so I want that lock because I still need to be able to do my stabs and everything. This is on a screamer stick with a flail. Okay, let's talk about a couple of strikes. Here, under the armpit, here, under the armpit, okay? This right here, if I use this as I'm in here, and I'm like, hey man, I don't want anything, watch about coming forward. Okay, I can pick an eyeball right there in 1 second. You see that? Eyeball. If I bring it from over the shoulder as well, I can also step out and use it as a power slash, right? You can use your body to accelerate things off. This is actually a very powerful tool. The third position is when I'm trying to do deeper or longer strikes. Now this is the full flail, okay? So I'm gripping it down at the bottom, still same principle as a screamer. You want that wrist sort of distance with the puño or the bottom of the stick, the butt of the stick hanging down, because even when I get in here, whether I'm here like this and he's coming in, okay, I still want that ability to do all my stuff. Control with that hook of the wrist, okay? When you are using this side, I'm typically I'm either really using it as a defense, he's coming in, and I'm using it as a defang weapon and maximizing my length, or I'm using it as what a flail. This is the best way this works as a flail. So if I'm hitting him here, I hit with this section of the stick. So it's just our knife. When I'm hitting that, I'm directing it in forward motion, which I'll show you the new technique, the Tan Cao, Bon Cao technique. They'll help you understand a little more of this stuff. But I'm not just going straight across. I'm going up into his center line, okay? So when I'm here, he's sort of going slow motion, okay? I'll hit the stick here. See how that's gonna go up? This going up and me following through clears, and that flail now goes away from me, and by situational stuff is gonna hit him. If he has his hands up, cracks the other hand, it does all this stuff, cracks teeth, whatever. So again, I could be going from here, he's coming in, I could either block here or he's coming in, or I could block this way and catch up. I can then get traps, controls, all kinds of stuff. I can walk him out, and if I squeeze this, if I pull this tight, okay, he's gonna feel it, especially if I X cross it. I can grab it in one hand right here. So I can actually come around here. Once you get these chucks, see right here in my hand? You can just squeeze that. Sorry.
That's okay, brother.
Okay. I just like cranking his neck.
Jiu-jitsu guy.
He's tapping.
His other hand's locked, you can't tap.
Beautiful.
Okay, these rules that you're learning just allow you to translate from hand to hand in between, okay? If I'm going from here and I want to go into a grip, all I need to do is plant it, tuck it, finger should be there, okay? So now as he's coming in at me, I still have boom, I could come in, cut here, all right? He can also come out and we could be using all of our reverse punyo, okay? Now the magic of this is when he comes in here and I've gone here, and now I'm using this as a flare, okay? To the back of the head, to the front of the face, okay? Bringing it back off the body. This is great. If I wanted to tie up, I can go in, add your jiu-jitsu into it, okay?
Beautiful.
So, do not forget that this is the initial striking point of the chuck, okay? If I have to go in and I'm gonna use this as combat, I'm not gonna pick it up and be doing this spinning stuff, all right? Again, 3 positions. So the first one, he's coming in, I've come in, I've got a scream of stuff that we could be doing. Breaks, all that. This is really good for knotting somebody up and really cranking those, okay? So this simple thing is in. You can literally make the contact, coming backhand so you can see it, boom, pitch that through at the face, catch, and then take your locks. So you know I'm a big person about sweeps, so he's coming in here, and I use the sweeps with my reverse grip. Again, I could be using my stop sweep, okay? So I'm attacking that, boom, through the face, and I can use this stuff, right? Now, as this same move, this is where the sweep can be used. It's a wrapping thing, it comes around, and it pulls the hand out of the way. I'll keep here because it hurts the wrist, okay? So I'm gonna keep it on the stick, and if he's swinging in at me, it's like a lop tick, okay? So I use it to wrap and swing back out, okay? When I'm practicing this, I'm way off my partner's face, I'm boom, and I'm yanking it. So if he comes in, I can go right through his head. See that?
Trying to redirect the weapon.
Right. So if I go to my parallel one, I can come up all angles from that.
Redirect
if I come off to this hip, boom, boom, okay? So coming straight in. I just don't want to whip on this type of stuff, but it's essentially bah, bah, okay? And it could be done both directions. So I could go whop, whop, okay?
Yes, sir.
When I'm going here, I can also be, after I've released this, as he comes out, okay? Put your hand in your face. I'm gonna come from this side, just so you come with a backhand, just for safety. Okay, see that?
Yes, sir.
I'm not aiming to hit him with the chuck. I'm using that powerful piece of metal right there.
Direct.
Okay, so as he comes in, boom, and I hit him. And again, you can see how I have that control right here.
Yes, sir.
He comes in forward. Boom, as I'm hitting here, keep that hand up.
Yes, sir.
See what I'm doing?
Yeah.
I'm coming through, I'm clearing back. So I just want to do a
aiming
little
with.
bit.
Yeah, look what the point of the nunchuck he's aiming with, and what's happening with the reaction from it.
So I'm hitting metal.
Yes.
But what am I also aiming for? My angle is going to go for, right?
Yeah.
He's coming in here, and I go right to the head, okay? I could pull him open, boom. He can come in on an angle. You learn sweeps, and you could just follow through any which way that you want to go. I can use this here, boom, pop, okay? Pop. These are very effective. So very basic 4 corners, boom, snap, okay? He comes down, boom, right? I could turn, snap.
Yep.
He comes in again, boom. I can wrap, take the chucks away.
Yeah.
Okay? I can take a blade away. There's a lot of effects that you can do with this. And yes, just like MMA, just like every sport you do, you have to train. You have to train all the time.
Amen.
Nobody that does MMA is going to go in and just pick up nunchucks or a knife and come in and fight a good knife fighter. Okay? And vice versa. So respect all the things, guys. All the martial arts are effective. Learn it. Try to learn a little bit of everything and evolve with what's coming out. Weapons, new systems. You gotta learn them. That's what self-defense is. It's not just a black belt.
Amen.
What?
Yep, I like that. Greg's got a great point. I think it's adjustment. It's learning what you know, building off of that, being what you're comfortable with. Body type is also very important, which works for you. Also be careful with your striking something with this. One thing I've learned in the past is if you're striking a heavy bag, be careful with this chuck coming back to hit you. It's very common to do that. So just practice and practice and practice. It's drill, 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 but drill correctly. Go back to your fundamentals. This little sweep right here is extremely important. This little tick right here comes back to the knife training, to everything we're doing, keeping your elbows in. Just go back to your basics. Always growing, always learning, always getting better, evolve. That's the basics of survival and becoming the best martial artist that you can be. Be humble, be respectful to each other, and have fun.
Hey, I have a question. Aaron, so you're training now, Jing Shen, maybe you guys have been working together
3 months?
3 months?
Yeah.
2 months? Yeah,
So
3
how
months.
have you taken any techniques from Jing Shen and used them in all of the trainings that you do? Because you do so many different types of training every day.
Great question, Amy. Gosh, all the fundamentals kind of come back to it. Like I was saying, it's initially you're not going to see the ties that tie into everything that you're doing with these fundamental basics and stuff, but the hand positions are very important for me. Right now, I grew up like in a Kempo karate background, but much like Greg, and typical martial arts style. But now that I'm trying to get my black belt in jiu-jitsu and I'm going through this journey it's a completely different background. It's a completely different stance and learning of fundamentals. But the hand positionings are helping me a lot, the bracing for it. Even I noticed in my game, I've noticed just when I'm passing or somebody's trying to pass my guard, I'm able to frame a lot better. I'm using my hooks better. I'm able to use these translations and coordinate with the stuff and able to use it and implement it in my game that I'm evolving now. It's not so much helping my old style karate stuff, but this is helping my jiu-jitsu game a lot right now. But it's also helping my stuff in like self-defense and also hand-to-hand combat, getting in these clinches, holding guys, using these little techniques and hooks and grips that I've been learning from Greg have really helped me a lot. Not use so much of my strength because I'm a strong guy. It's helping me use more of my technique. When I go to jiu-jitsu, I actually work out before and train before, so I'm actually very tired usually, so I try and focus on technique and on fundamentals because that's where you're going to grow and get better at. If you use your strength and your brutes, fundamental gifts of God and stuff like that, then you're not going to grow and get better. It's going to take you a lot longer. So that's why I like to do a lot of this stuff. It's just, on your off time, I'm growing, I'm learning these times, and it's just helping my game overall. Hand positioning is very key. It's effortless when you start to find the positions. It's so much less strength. You're able to conserve your energy, use your strength, able to function more. And that's the chaos of martial arts. You'll start to notice once you train more, everything starts to slow down. And that's because you're able to use less oxygen deprivation. Your brain's able to function more clearly. You're actually able to use your techniques and actually able to use the moves. It's like flipping on a light switch. It's really cool. So I've learned a lot from this in just a very short period of time. I'll also like to use them. I'm not familiar with weapons and chucks. I haven't used honestly since I was 10, 11, 12 years old. When I first started getting into martial arts, karate, Bruce Lee days, using these with more practicality. All this stuff comes back and also translates into the knife defense, which is beautiful. So all of it ties into each other. You don't see it right away, but now that I've been doing this for a few months, this is starting to tie into everything. My game's growing in jiu-jitsu. I'm not plateauing, which you find a lot in martial arts and stuff. When you're starting to do things, you kind of overload yourself. But as you grow and through that plateau is when you're actually getting better and you're getting more knowledge in your training, and it becomes a lot more clear for you.
And tell us one more time how many different trainings you're doing every day.
Oh goodness! So I train jiu-jitsu 5 days a week, at least 2 hours a day. I work out 6 days a week, and then on top of this with Greg, I'm doing the 4 to 6 hours a week of doing this hand-to-hand combat, like knife training and nunchuck training. It's a lot of training on top. I work and personal train, but you always have time to push yourself and grow. I really enjoy doing this. It's part of a lifestyle that you start to develop in your life. You know, being disciplined and working out martial arts translates into everything. As a kid, luckily, I grew up in a martial arts family with my dad was a karate black belt, and that helped me in my high school sports, but also when I got out of high school, was able to get into other football, other athletics, but also I'm 43, staying in good shape, making sure you get up to discipline to run, to train yourself. It's beautiful when you get falling in love with the stuff, because you actually set yourself up the day before, making sure like, okay, tomorrow I'm gonna train, I'm gonna get my bag ready, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, or tomorrow's my rest day. I'm gonna take the day off, maybe I'll just go for a light jog, light run. Being consistent is super important. It's the most important advice I can give anybody, is to keep training. Like Greg said, you got to keep training. Otherwise, you're going to become old and stale, and you're not going to become evolving with the new techniques for the day. If you're not training, you're going to get trained by somebody who is training, and that's the worst thing that can happen to you. In this day and age, a lot of people have very basic fundamentals, so you want to make sure that you're training, that you're able to defend your family, defend yourself. A lot of people train MMA, bad guys, good guys, so you want to make sure that you're able to defend and take care of yourself and your family.
Okay, so we're going to start off just with the warm-ups. And again, let's just start with the very basics. If you guys are here, you're learning what the chucks can do is help you learn rotation. If you stay flat, you're going to end up getting these hits, okay? First grip that you're going to learn to work with when I teach guys is you start with your thumb coming up right by the metal here. You're gripping nice and comfortably over. And when I use Whippin's grip, I always use middle finger as my control finger, okay? So we're here. We don't stay with the thumb there. We just get that, and we have a nice grip that locks over across our hand this way.
That's all the carotid arteries. That's a nice technique.
Let's go back to this here. Let's now get into the fight stance as you're doing this triangle body. Boom, switch, okay? Hip, hip, up, get that feel. If you guys learn that. The other thing you don't want to do, freestyle, we let the elbows go out. Fighting, the elbows stay in. Elbow should be inside of the wrist, not outside of the wrist, okay? You're leaving too much for a chuck to get up under. If I'm in here and he's throwing a chuck in, come as an uppercut, go up under my chin, okay? Catch my chin, go from under. Boom, see? He's got nothing because that center line's covered, okay? Very important.
Another detail for me, when I was first starting to do this, I was having trouble kind of with this space right here. Just catching it, it was awkward. If I put my elbow inside, it actually created a little gap where I was able to catch the chuck a little easier.
And notice right here, as he's here, there's a slight drop of his shoulder because everybody thinks it has to be flexibility or boobs have a problem with it. You don't. You tuck.
You tuck.
You pinch. Okay?
So, huge thing for me. So I'm coming in.
Another thing people tend to do is they try to lean forward to do it.
No,
don't lean
drop
forward.
your head.
It's a slight inward rotation because you're bringing your elbow in with a drop. Okay? And if I look down that line, okay, I can hold this off my body now, and I can really crank that extra tension to shoot at somebody.
And you're tight.
All right, so we had our rolls. This time I'm going to show you guys center line principle, right? When I have that, whether it's fuksal or tonsal, okay, and we'll get into when you use those. Usually tonsal, paksal, bonsal are passive aggressive sort of attack techniques, meaning like you're waiting for somebody to come in and then you're countering and setting them up. The fuksal, okay, and rolling elbows are direct attack techniques.
Offensive.
And so they're 100% offensive. I've decided I'm done with this guy, or you're threatening somebody that I care about, and I'm just coming through you. Okay. So on this one, let's get that tonsal, just like our ball. Okay. The roll here. We keep it in the center line. It's the exact same roll that we did when we were doing these ones here. When we were balancing. Okay. We did that inside roll back out here. All right. This chuck will help you master that. Okay. So on this one, just go in. You got your body roll, and then we're going to catch it in tonsal. Okay. wrist and the elbow are in the center line, or elbows in the center line, wrist the outside. So the back side of your hand's in the center line here, okay? Not your front side. See how this is hand in, this is hand out, all right? This is gonna come back in. I'm not collapsing my arm, okay? As this comes back in, you'll notice that my elbow is moving away from me.
Correct.
So I'm just trying to get the description right. You wanna come in looking right here, see how, and I'm in a bad position just so you can see. I wanna hook my own chuck. And if I'm in that center line, it should come out and roll nicely around me. So going slow, it's here, drop it, taunts out. Begin your bonsai, start reaching away from you and over. Got it?
Yes,
So
sir.
it's here, good, boom.
Keeping that elbow tight as you spin
Keep
around.
that elbow in, roll that bonsai out, and it should just shoot around.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
And keeping
So
this
you've got
spinning
a
elbow
nice,
tight as well.
a nice pretty move to add to your techniques, but it's also something you can help to learn how to move around your body, develop your coordination, and so on. Any other things you're feeling with this?
Yeah.
Okay, so this one can be done from a short or your long stance. So I could put it out here, and usually beginners, it might be easier to start way because of the distance you can keep it away from your face,
Yes, sir.
right? Don't use wood ones, don't use metal ones right now, okay? All right, so one more time, we're coming in, bang, over, out, back in. That's just your warm-up stuff for today. So let's talk about this as a weapon, okay? In this short range position, this allows me to change. You'll see this overhand uppercut position right here, okay? You see it in the scream as well, in the Heaven 6, okay? This allows me to come out either underhand, okay, or overhand, all right? And you can learn to switch, catch it up either way, okay? So this is just a little pointer. I'd love to connect with Hard2Kill guys. We're just in San Diego. I don't know exactly where you guys are. Same with Karate Guy. You guys are awesome. I just had to give a little check to that. And we'll do let's get into doing some techniques like this. Again,
Be safe,
pop
guys.
the eyes, slashes. These things are actually very effective tools. Same thing, if I want to use this, okay? If I'm in here and he's coming in like with a blade or he's grabbing in, okay? Come in with it, sorry, my bad. Okay, we can use these in your Dos Manos type stuff.